right with people. And like, I love all people, don't get me wrong here, okay, but when you're in co-writing world and you know you're trying to really make it a career, it's important that you're able to write with people who will, you know, equally want their songs to like go somewhere. And so today is one of those days for me. It's like an open door, and so I'm driving out to Nashville for that. And then what's really amazing is that right after that, I am in the studio. So I'm writing in the studio where I'm going to be recording. And I get to record right after that 2 of my songs that I'm not going to say what they are because you don't know them yet, but I'm super excited. These are 2 of my most favorite songs of the songs that are almost didn't make my exit. These are 2 of my favorite songs of the songs that are coming out off of my first full-length album. And what's going through my mind right now is just that this, like, both of these songs are songs of my heart. Like, some songs you write because it's like good, solid biblical truth or whatever, but then there's songs that you write that are like out of your heart and soul, like. And I wanted to do both of these songs today because, quite honestly, I get kind of obsessive about these songs, and I was like, I just need to like get them out of the way so that I can focus on the other things. And that is not like a weird thing. I think it's like, it's in my heart and soul, so I just need to like, boom, get it out there. I'm also going to put mascara on while I drive because I'm a girl and sometimes girls do this. The other thing is that this weekend we are actually going to Georgia, and it's going to be amazing. I get to lead worship for the whole women's conference, and I also am going to be speaking on Saturday morning, sharing my testimony and how God uses all of those hard things of life to like lead you to where He wants you to go, and to lead you not even just like from the standpoint of what you have to offer, but like because it's good for you and because He loves you and it's who you were created to be. And so I am really excited to be down there. When I get back, we're going to be going right into this 3-day soul care for worship leaders. I get to co-write, go all over Nashville with all these other worship leaders that are, you know, that I've just gotten close to over the years, a couple new ones. And I'm also gonna get to go into the studio, and then right after that's over, I'll go back into the studio again and finish out this first half of the song. So it is such an exciting time for me. I'm just, my heart is so alive right now. I'm trying to like slow down, like stop talking so fast, chill. But I'm so excited. Bye. It's worth it. That was sounded cooler in my head.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah. I think that's
Okay.
cool.
Is that?
I mean, that was sick. It was great.
Okay.
Justin's awfully quiet, but I thought it was cool.
He's filming me.
I'm doing marketing.
Which I appreciate.
For who?
Trust in God, my Savior, the one who will. No, He won't fail. Never
a songwriter and a recording artist and a worship leader. We also restore people through pastoral like retreats and things that we're still kind of getting that part off the ground. This is a new ministry. A huge part of what we want to do, we want to have this property where we can bring burnt out pastors and their families and just minister to them so that they can go back on their way, minister. And, you know, maybe not everybody knows, but it can be really hard ministering. So we want to be able to pour into people and have a place where that we can facilitate that. My husband has a huge passion to go overseas. I've had dreams where I was leading worship in another country and I'm singing in English, but they're hearing it in their native language. And just that kind of thing, we want people to experience God and be restored to Him in that way. So we want to restore people, and it's very much a faith walk, as I mentioned. But to do what we do, we have to, you know, come up with our own funds. We come up with our way. We get creative. The Lord like strategizes with us how we're going to fund what we do as we go. And so if you have in your heart this morning as I'm talking and just throughout the weekend, like, I just really want to come alongside Josh and Rochelle and what they're doing, would you come and talk to me? I'm going to share with you about my journey that I have been on. Kurt and my dad, they were pastors growing up, and my mom's a worship leader. She's phenomenal. She's a songwriter and worship leader, and I really just caught that, the worship. Like, she would just play the piano before I would go to bed at night, and, you know, just filling my home with the presence of God. And I felt called to ministry. I ended up going to Bible college, and that's where I met my husband, Josh. When I was 16, I had met a boy. Everyone say, ooh. It wasn't my husband, okay? But I met a boy, and I should say about 3 years before that, I met this boy. And we actually ended up dating over the years. We weren't like allowed to date. I wasn't allowed to date, but we were basically dating, okay? You know what I mean? And so 3 years in, I'm at worship practice. And he says, hey, Rochelle, we need to talk. Now, I'm 3 years into this thing, okay? I'm 16 years old. And he says, hey, I think we need to, like, take a break. Like, we need to break up. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? You know, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm fully committed to this. Well, he broke up with me, broke my heart. Oh, it's so sad. But 4 days later, I was not doing well physically. I had had some issues. It was not good. And I ended up going into the hospital, and I had a procedure done, and they discovered that I had an autoimmune disease. And I'm 16 years old. 4 days before that, I had my heart broken, and then I find out I have this disease. And my heart was just like, I felt like I was just getting like raked. Like it wrecked me completely. And I won't share too much on all of that, but other than to say, it was during that time frame that the Lord really met me. I mean, really met me, because we're talking about trials by fire. And this was really one of the beginning starting points of how the Lord met me. Because when you go through something hard, if you don't have a foundation that is built there to be able to withstand those hard trials, it doesn't go very well, and you end up just floating in the wind. And the Bible even talks about that if you are not like grounded in the Lord, that you will get like tossed in the wind. And boy, I was getting tossed. But I really felt the Lord just so near me. And there was this one particular night where I was on steroids. And one of the side effects of steroids is that it makes your mind race. And so I'm like awake, it's like 2 a.m. I wake up and I'm completely exhausted. My body's depleted. I was like, you know, down in the like 118 pounds or something, which I haven't seen that in a while. But I've lost 20 pounds, guys. This is awesome. All that to say, I was very depleted. I was very tired. I was very just like struggling in my life. And I remember waking up and no one in my house was awake, and I didn't want to wake anybody up. You know, you just kind of felt bad, like, I'm going through this hard thing, but I don't want to wake anybody up. And so I'm just laying there on the floor, just bawling my eyes out before the Lord, like, God, why will you not take this from me? Why am I sick? Why did I get my heart broken? What did I do to deserve this? And I'm completely just a mess. I'm bawling my eyes out on the floor for hours. And I just have to say that in that moment, I really felt the Lord just come and like hover over me. Like how he says that he hovers over the waters of the deep. Like I felt him so near my heart, so near me. And it wasn't like, oh, my problems are fixed, and now that I feel him near, I can just stop crying and everything's good. It was like, no, he was like with me in that deep pain of my life. And I'm laying there, and I'm still like, I don't have answers. I don't have healing. I'm still in pain. I'm still heartbroken and all of this. But I begged God, please take these feelings from me. I mean, I just felt like I couldn't even handle. It's like I was exploding on the inside. It was this agony, these feelings of like, for this boy and for my emptiness and all of the destitution that I was in that moment. And the Lord just came, and he was with me. And he was with me. And I got back into my bed, and I went back to sleep. And I had a dream that night, and the Lord shared with me this dream of where basically my life would look like this if I held on to it. And it would not be very good. It wouldn't be good. And I woke up and this anger rose up in me. Like I was so angry at this boy. I was angry at the devil. Like, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to do all this, but I do know one thing, and it's that my heart is yours. My heart is yours, and I don't want to be ugly and dark and black on the inside. Like I want to be yours and connected to you in a way that is like whatever I'm trying to hold on to out here, that doesn't matter. It's you, Jesus. It's you. And so he met me in that way. And it was still hard for a little while, but I would fast forward to my life from the last 10 to 15 years. I go to college. I've got this like sort of, I'm broken because of everything I've gone through, but I'm like serious, and I was like the serious person. Like people would joke like, man, she's like really intense. I'm like, I was kind of intense, but I don't know, I was just like being myself, okay? But I was also guarded, like, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get into another hurt from you, Jesus, because you're the only one that's safe to me. And so it was a protection, but it was also my love for Jesus. And, my husband and I, we ended up going into ministry, and ministry has hard things that come. And we get on staff at a church over the last, about 10 years ago, we went on staff at a church. And, it was like, as a worship leader, where it's like, you just want to roll in the presence of God. Like, it was everything. It was like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment. I just want to be in God's presence. I can lead the way I want to. People were seeing angels, and it was just beautiful. But what was very hard about that season was that because of the way that my heart was with the Lord, I was very, I would say, stuck in the mud with certain things. It was like, I'm not going to budge on this. And what that would do was create like a stubbornness in other areas of my life. And it was a protection. I'm protecting myself because I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be like brought into these moments of pain again. And I can't handle when people would hurl words onto me that I didn't agree with. So I would just, do this whole thing. Well, as a pastor's wife, that is not very good. I was trying to be protective of myself because I was still sick, and I was still trying to protect my heart in many ways. And so we went through a season of trials, and for the first 4 years that we were there, it was beautiful spiritually, but everything else in my life was just dying. And it led me into a deep depression. And a big part of what was painful in that season was some of the expectations that we had in that season at our church. And what that did was it actually brought my husband away from the home. And it made it very, very hard. As somebody who had dealt with rejection, I would like cry at home. He would be doing ministry and I'd be home with the kids and I'd just be bawling my eyes out. And even just singing songs, I remember sitting on my couch singing, just singing this, "You satisfy my soul with your love." And I would just say that to God, like, "You're the only one that can satisfy my heart. You're the only one that can satisfy my soul. I'm here by myself. Nobody sees me. Nobody cares really what I had to say." And at least these are the lies going through my head. And so 4 years into that, I was so depressed. But the Lord met me in that. He began to take me into this realization of like, "Hey, Rochelle, I have so much more for you." And he used some outside situations to really bring that into my life. One of those was songwriting. One of those was even just realizing like I'm involved in some things that I don't really have a passion for. They're just depleting from me. They're pulling from me away from what the Lord has for me. In that, the Lord just began to work in me. And so first, he had to sort of build me up a bit. He had to pull me out of the depression. So I began to be in these scenarios where I was suddenly like, oh my gosh, I'm like breathing again. I didn't even realize that I was like suffocating, but I was. When you're in it, you don't fully know what you're going through. You can't even fully articulate it. But when you're that depressed, the Lord is able to really meet you in that. And so that's what he did with me. He just began to really meet me in these places and show me it's like I could dream again. I felt like I was seeing in color again. But because of the circumstances we were going through, I was dealing also with bitterness. Like the root of bitterness burrowed itself into my heart. And I would go to church and these things would happen and I would go home and I would just be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired of this. Like, I hated the way that it felt. Hated the way it would feel when I would sit with my husband at night and just, how could they do that? Why do they think this way? And I just couldn't get past it. And so I had this bitterness. I had this depression. I had the pains that would just come at me, all the while having my mom's voice in my head of saying, don't even flirt with unforgiveness. But I'm like, but it's already in there. And I'm trying to get it out. I'm like warring with the Lord over it, all the while just missing my husband. I just wanted him to be around. And so we would have these struggle moments over a period of like 4 years. I'm warring with the Lord over this. I'm singing songs to God. I want to love them like you. Help me to love them like you. I'm struggling here, Lord. And he knew I really wanted to, but when you just keep getting hit, and you're like, I can't heal because I just keep getting hit. Well, it's that very thing that the Lord uses to draw it out of you, because what I want to say in this is that you've got to get honest about how you really feel. Like, why is it that it bothers me when this person says or does a certain thing? There's like a lot of times another reason. I don't like that they're saying or doing this because of a previous pain that had nothing to do with them. A lot of times there's another reason. I like to dig in, like, what's really going on here? Can we get to the root issue? Let's get it out of there, because if I'm reacting this way, it's probably because there's another reason. I've been writing songs for a couple years now at this point, and this is like year 6 of us being there. And year 6 or 7, I get a little fuzzy there, but I'm like out of the depression, but I'm like fighting my flesh. Okay, we're dealing with some things. Simultaneously, the Lord had been speaking to me. Our church at the time would do a 21-day fast in January. And I couldn't really fast most of the time because I was having babies and nursing and all of that, and then the autoimmune disease. But my heart was that I wanted to, but I couldn't in the way that I wanted to. And so the Lord, he actually started stirring in me like, hey, I want you to go on a year-long TV fast. Well, What you don't know is that because of my depression that I had dealt with and trying to numb, I would go home at night and just watch TV. Like I would literally just like completely numb, like every single night. And my husband, who is so wonderful, you guys, for real, he is wonderful. He would put the kids to bed like every night. And I would feel this guilt of like, oh my gosh, like I'm not ever helping, I'm not ever whatever. And I would do everything